Hello, we are very pleased to welcome you at this session on the WISE Haiti Task Force. The WISE Haiti Task Force was established 2 years ago at the WISE Summit in 2010 for helping the rebuilding of the Haiti education system, which has been very badly affected by the earthquake of January 2010, as you know. And as a result of the discussion we had at the summit in 2010, there's been this task force was established with a group of foreign experts. Some of them are there. I see Franny Leautier here, Charles Goodman. There was Pierre Samuel, is there, from the foreign side, but Pierre is both an Haitian and a diaspora member, and a personality from Haiti. And among those personalities, notably Madame Michel Pierre-Louis, former Prime Minister. And this task force worked initially on a key approach, which was to identify and build on success stories in the different segments of the education system. Maybe there were not so many, but the best way to change and push countries in difficulties towards new trajectories is to make them proud of what they have achieved, even if it's small. That gives self-confidence. That was the key initial seed. And then afterwards, the WISE IT Task Force has developed in such a way that I'm not going to describe now. I will give the floor to Madame Pierre-Louis a little bit after for giving you this profile of the different steps which have been made. But before that, I would like that each of the panelists introduce briefly herself or himself. They will provide you, after Madame Pierre-Louis, a brief reaction to a film that will be, in fact, presented for explaining what has been done by the task force and his approach and philosophy. And so please introduce yourself.
My name is Dominique Udicourt. I'm the director of Fondation Tipa Tipa, which is a foundation that works with schools and organizations for improving and changing methods and approaches, and especially also for the promotion of early childhood education.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to address my special thanks to WISE to have created the WISE Haiti Task Force, as well as the WISE Learners Voice program that give me the opportunity to be here tonight. My name is Ronel Lefranc. I am from Haiti, a student of HELP, which is Haitian Education and Leadership Program. I'm also the co-founder of a students organization called ACTIVE, which is an acronym for Action Towards Initiatives and Volunteering for Education. And I'm a member of the 2011 WISE Learners, where I got the opportunity to go to Brazil to represent the group at the 6th World Youth Congress and conducted a field study in Paraguay at the self-sufficient school that won a prize at WISE in 2009.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michel Pierre-Louis. I am the president of a foundation in Haiti, which is called Fondation Connaissance et Liberté, Foundation for Knowledge and Freedom, which was created 17 years ago with the funding from the Open Society Foundations. And after an experience in government where I was Prime Minister in 2008, 2009, I came back to the foundation as president, and the foundation works in different areas: education, culture, community development, with an idea to empower Haitians to grab their society in a different way and to develop the skills that we need in this global society.
My name is Patrick Attier. I'm the director and co-founder of École Supérieure d'Infotronique d'Haïti, which is a higher education institution that has been created in 1994 and really proposing bachelor level programs in computer engineering, mostly in two domains of computer engineering, database and telecommunication. We also are involved with, we are also proposing a 2-year program, more professional training program after high school. We are very much involved right now with projects that are linked and interesting for what we do with the WISE Haiti Task Force. Essentially involved using ICTs, technologies, to improve learning, to improve reading. USAID is funding right now a project that we're involved with, using interactive whiteboards to improve learning for children. And we're also involved with the IDB in teaching a group of kids to very quickly create electronic catalogs to sell Haitian products. Now with the Haiti Task Force, we are involved in designing immersive models of Haitian sites, cultural, historical, or touristic sites.
Thank you very much. Now the scenario, if I may say, is going to be the following. Michel, you would provide us with some brief overview on the situation of education and the role and the steps taken by the Haiti Task Force. Then after these few minutes, we will have a 4-minute film. And then we will have the panel reacting on the film and the audience having the possibility to pose questions on comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jean-Éric. The theme of this summit is collaborating for change. And I think in a way the WISE Haiti Task Force has anticipated this mission and this vision because we have embodied from the beginning the collaboration between different stakeholders. Under the initiative of the Qatar Foundation in 2010, the WISE Haiti Task Force was created with stakeholders from different parts of the world and different institutions. L'Agence française l'Agence Université de la Francophonie, l'UNESCO, the REN Corporation, la Fondation africaine pour le renforcement des capacités, so different, and the foundation of which I'm the president, including Monsieur Samuel Pierre from a foundation in Canada, who is also an engineering teacher at the University of Montreal. So worldwide, we had this collaboration to see what could be done to rebuild the education system in Haiti after the devastating earthquake that killed over 400 students, teachers, administration. So the strategy that we use is also an embodiment of that type of collaboration. We decided that in this, as I said before, apparent chaos of the situation of this education system in Haiti, to see what works, what success stories we could come up with in all sectors of education. Early childhood, basic, higher education, professional, street kids, kids with handicaps, kids in domesticity. What works? What are the initiatives, the programs, the institutions that are still working in Haiti and that can become highlighted by the WISE Haiti Task Force? And we found them. In the time frame that we had, we found 20 initiatives, programs, institutions that have best practices in education, that have lasted, some of them, for 30, 35 years, and that can showcase their best practices. And that's what we did in 2001. We had a conference that, again, was a very collaborative exercise, whereby all these initiatives came to expose their experiences and meet each other, which some of them didn't even know each other at the time. And the highlight of that seminar was also the President of the Republic, who was elected just 4 months before and who has made education a priority, came and gave his closing remarks. So from there, we were very pleased last year when at the closing of the WISE Summit, Dr. Abdullah also announced the continuation of the Haiti Task Force. So our strategy then was again collaborative. How can we enhance and perhaps scale up these initiatives? So we launched a competition, and 7 of them gained some funding that we got from the Qatar Foundation, going between $15,000 to $25,000 in different, again, aspects of the education scale. And the jury was, again, very collaborative because there were different stakeholders from the WISE Haiti Task Force. And this competition was done on the basis of innovation. What can this innovation bring as this institution bring as innovative ideas to reinforce the education system? And the best part of it is that the Ministry of Education got involved. So now if I have a chance, I'll talk more about the perspective if, again, this year, the trust that was built between us and the WISE Summit and the Qatar Foundation pledges for a continuation of our strategy. But what I can say is that with the ministry, we recently decided that each of these best practices, each of these initiatives will become a pole of excellence around which all the public and private schools that are in their area, geographic area, can benefit from this experience and enhance the public sector, which is essential in the education rebuilding process of Haiti. So this is what I can say at this stage.
Thank you very much, Michel, for this excellent summary. I suggest we go directly to see the movie, and we will complement the information after having seen it. Thank you so much, Michel.
The WISE Haiti Task Force will move to a new phase to become a catalyst of change, working through the successful projects which we have identified there, and coordinating with other partners to develop and implement best practices in education.
In 2012, WISE Haiti Task Force started to scale up in association with FOCAL, the Foundation for Knowledge and Liberty. It has come a long way since its creation in the aftermath of the devastating earthquake in 2011. As far as education was concerned, everything was to be built from scratch.
Haiti's public sector has never developed to offer to the Haitian community public schools of quality.
The WISE Haiti Task Force objective is to implement new ways of reforming education. The first phase of the strategy was to create a network of existing innovative projects.
We said, all right, we're going to try to see in this apparent chaos what works in education. So in all sectors, we targeted a few institutions that have proven to be very successful in their endeavors in education.
23 educational best practices from all segments of education were selected and supported. Even in the most remote areas, some schools like le Paradis des Indiens provide quality education.
C'est une idée qui date de plus de 36 ans. Le désir, c'était surtout de venir en aide à mes compatriotes, surtout les plus démunis, les plus pauvres. Nous avons choisi un petit coin bien éloigné de Port-au-Prince. Nous avons construit la première petite école qui n'avait que 2 classes.
The projects were brought together during a seminary and then promoted to successful stories. The Tipa Tipa method for early childhood, for example, strengthens community spirit and key democratic values through teachers' training.
Je travaille comme consultante pour Tipa Tipa en méthodologie. L'aspect épanouissement et développement de la personnalité de l'enfant est extrêmement important. Il y a une forme de socialisation. Nous voulons que l'enfant soit à l'aise avec tout le monde. On encourage beaucoup le travail en équipe. L'aspect manipulatif est très important. Ils doivent participer, ils doivent bouger, ils doivent faire.
The successful stories have strong potential for replication. The 2012 goal is to spread the initiative, widen the network, and scale up on a national level with the Haitian authorities.
After 3 to 5 years, then if you are
a real professional, you will have an impact. You will make a change. And then you can carry the broader reform of the education system because you have created a new mindset, you have created new practice, a new way of seeing what works, what doesn't work, and then people, in fact, align gradually themselves on the good practices, which are rooted in the local culture.
Le ministère est à fond dans la scolarisation gratuite des élèves. Donc on a recensé ces enfants scolarisés et non scolarisés et on leur a fait une place avec un curriculum accéléré. Ce qui fait d'année en année, on doit assurer la gratuité pour arriver à l'école obligatoire.
The Haitian authorities can now build on this network of success to develop its policy. Many challenges remain in Haiti, but the will to drastically reform the education system is shared by all. The Wise Haiti Task Force spirit for change is spreading, step by step, across the country.
What I would like just to say, that there are common characteristics among the 20 initiatives which were selected, despite they were touching different aspects of the education system. I would say there are 5 features. The first is that they were all looking for quality and sometimes excellence, whatever they were doing. Secondly, there was a very strong personality leading that, if not one personality, a small group with a strong identity, wanting really to make change. Thirdly, there was a support of the local community around. That was very important. Even in kind, for instance, you have the peasants which bring, for instance, food for meal at lunch for the children which are in some schools, for instance. Sometimes mobilization of resources. Fourth characteristics, there was always a support of the international network, whatever it is, either bilateral cooperation, either multilateral organization support, sometimes diaspora, or sometimes just some friends from foreigners, which providing in form of charity. And that was important because it gives a kind of, I would say, a checking that you are doing something good, because it's checked against the international experience. And finally, which was very important, all these schools and initiatives were working into the framework defined by the government authorities, the national authorities in Haiti in charge of education, whatever it is, diploma, the type of programs, they were following the rules. So that gives them credibility. So that was the basic thing. And then what helped the task force to do is to make those initiatives visible. People, a number of them didn't know that there were in fact such things going on for 30 years in Haiti, but making this network and nucleus, in fact, created a kind of collective force and collective intelligence, which was reinforced by the support of the WISE in the second year in form of this call for proposal and project, innovative projects, creating, in fact, these collective change agents. And now we are trying to move to a third step, which is sufficient strength to reach out the rest of the system and education system. So this is where we are. I would like to ask 2 of the leaders of the initiatives to complement what they have seen in briefly. First, Dominique, you are in charge of the Tipa Tipa, which is the early childhood education project. Now, based on what was explained and your own experience, what you would like to add after this brief presentation?
Yes, I think that the WISE initiative is coming at a crucial moment of the history of education in Haiti, because our actual president has chosen education as one of the major goals of his action, and he wants education for all and also obligatory for the basic education. But the problems are enormous, of course, because of course of the earthquake, but also the Ministry of Education is overwhelmed by the quantity of schools. There are many private schools. 90% of the schools are private. Every street corner there's a school, either professional, kindergarten, and also they are each doing their own thing. So some students are paying a lot of money, parents are paying, and people, it's a really a desired commodity. So parents are spending lots of money, sometimes 25% of their income into education, and they are not getting the product that they want for their children. Their children are not learning because the methods are very traditional, very strict, very punitive, with lots of exams. And many schools, community schools, or remote schools in the countryside have no resources, no communications, just the blackboard, so no books. So the challenges are enormous.
Thank you very much, Dominique. Patrick, you are on the other side, I would say, of the spectrum, since you are in charge of higher education institutions, which is just after the early childhood. What's your viewpoint, and how do you see also the contribution you can make as an elite institution for improving the overall education system?
Thank you, Jean-Éric. Before I talk about our contribution, I would like to complement what has been said by Dominique and by you, Jean-Éric and Michel, on the value of the projects that have been selected and the group that constitute those projects. The first thing is success. Those projects are successful, they are on the ground, they have been on the ground for years, they have produced results. The second thing, if you look at the list of the projects that have been selected, they are very complementary. You can find themes like environment, like handicapped people, like very basic education, higher education, technologies, all those areas that are extremely strategic today for Haiti, especially after the earthquake, are present in this group. The other thing I would like to say is that right out of the box, we have about 18,000 pupils that are touched by those projects actually in the states in which they are, So 18,000 kids and bigger kids also are touched directly by those projects. They are very scalable. The potential of those initiatives for scalability is big. We always kind of discuss about that, saying that in Haiti we're not very good at scaling things because we are so involved in doing them that scaling them takes a little background that sometimes we don't have the time to take. And I think that the help of the Qatar Foundation is going to do at least two things. It's arriving at the right time, as you say, Dominique. It's helping us scale and finding the means, not only financial means, but also the time and the fact that we're all together and we can work together to think about how we can do this scaling. If we look at the details, we have very, very innovative ways of doing things, but that are mostly isolated. If we can put them together, that is going to bring a new scale of what we are doing right now that not only is going to help Haiti, but can bring added value to what the vision of the Qatar Foundation is right now. So what's being done is replicable, potentially scalable, and can be done in other countries. We haven't invented the problems in Haiti. Those problems exist in many other countries for a big chunk of population. So this is what I wanted to say, and our own contribution as ESIH is to work with innovative technologies. You know, that we can do things today that we couldn't do 6 months ago, 1 month ago, in terms of bringing access to children, to content, resolving energy problem, using those little tablets that have 7-hour battery and that cost today $200. And 1 year ago, we couldn't have anything for less than $600 or $700. So energy, internet access, having a tool to access content. today it's much more feasible than it was 1 year ago. So we have to be innovative, and what we want to bring to the table is how to integrate those technologies on projects that could bring access to content, to everything that is done in the group, to the biggest quantity of children.
Thank you very much, Patrick, for this bright perspective. Ronel, now you are coming in as a newcomer, if I may say, with the advantage of having been a voice learner, participants. How do you see your contribution in the work to be done further?
Okay. As a student, I believe everyone should contribute in a way or another to the reconstruction of Haiti. So, however, the reality in Haiti is community activities, civic engagement are not really central to students' activities, students' life. Being aware of that and with the willingness to contribute to our community, two other Wise Learners 2011 and me, we created a student organization that aims at promoting volunteering work among students while we are motivating them and encourage them to do more community activities while we are inspiring them by sharing our experience with them, what the results they can get from this. And as a member of Wise Learners as well, we got the opportunity to implement this project entitled Learners' Voice Initiative for Haiti, which is a mentorship project that a group of 2011 learners who participated in the UN Youth Assembly in New York won a prize from the Resolution Project. We will be selecting students to send to those existing projects that the Haiti Task Force has selected to do volunteering work with them to an internship during this next summer. And they will be learning from those leaders, but while giving their contribution. That's a way we think will be really good to collaborate with the Haiti Task Force to move forward with the work they are doing in Haiti.
Thank you very much, Ronel, for this good perspective, which is making synergy between the different initiatives of the WISE. I am going to give the floor to the audience, but I would like also to identify a few persons in the audience who are particularly, I would say, concerned. First, there are members of the WISE IT Task Force, Franny Léautier, Charles Goodman, Pierre Samuel. There are another project manager who was selected in the first wave, Value, which is a rural integrated development project. And there are representatives of the Ministry of Education. And there is a sixth person which is fundamental and without anything would have happened. Is David Bruchon. He's very modest, but this man was a real engineer. We are just a loudspeaker for David. Could you introduce yourself? And then, but please, brief questions.
Okay,
and we try to respond.
I must say I'm happy to be here. And finally, it's not like I didn't feel at home, but I feel more at home knowing that I'm from Dominica, from the Caribbean. So I'm Beverly blessed. So I really feel really happy and to be here listening to this initiative. We have a lot of Haitians in Dominica, and one of the difficulties we are experiencing is in terms of the English speaking. I am the director of education of Achievement Learning Center, which is my own school. And I've had discussion with a lot of the Haitians in terms of providing English as a second language to them. Some of them have shown interest, but we still having difficulty in mobilizing them. I'm wondering how my school, Achievement Learning Center, together with the Haitian Task Force can work together to provide that kind of facility for them so they can learn, because I've already have the program, the curriculum, which teaches English from junior to senior level, and they can learn while they're at school for the adults and even those who are going to the state college. So I'm wondering how well my school, because you will be extending the program to your Haitian friends out of Haiti.
Thank you very much. We are collecting a few questions and then move. Yes, this. Yeah. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, Philip Craven, President of the International Paralympic Committee, so I'm about sport primarily. However, I was really pleased to hear Dominique say that your president talks about education for all, and already you've mentioned children with an impairment. But my questions, three very short ones. One is that when it comes to teachers training, I would advocate that you teach trainers the similarities between children with an impairment and other children, whereas there is a tendency that what is taught is the differences in how you cope with it. And similarly, all this reconstruction, some of which must have happened, but much of which will be continuing, are we removing barriers with the reconstruction to all children participating in education? Are we having single-story schools rather than double-story, which would mean maybe the installation of a lift, etc.? And just getting rid of the barriers right from the start, choosing a flat piece of ground rather than maybe one. And I saw in the, there's a lot of hills and inclines in Haiti, but finding that prime piece of land maybe where it could best be done. So just to make it easy so that all kids can truly, and education for all does in fact turn out to be education for all. And finally, sport for all in schools for all kids, and not just the kids in a wheelchair keeping the score when the rest get on with playing football. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We have noted the questions. Yes, madam?
Yeah, my name is Aisha Badiallo. It's not a question. It's just to say that I'm happy to hear that you have success stories to talk about. I am a member of the Secretary General of Aide Action International, and we work in Haiti. And Jacques Lumarque is a member of our Conseil d'Administration. And we will be happy to continue working in Haiti and get in touch with you to make sure that we will collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
One question. My name is Jacques de Chanchenel from a university in France called Sciences Po. My question is, education leads to several things, one of them being preparing a population for the job market and to build an efficient workforce. What are, according to you now, the priorities in terms of the main economic sectors which are crucial for Haiti in terms of contributing to the economic growth and national production in this country?
Then after we'll try to respond, yeah?
Hi, I am Steve Maxilien. I come from Haiti. I am a wise learner 2012. My question is this. You selected 7 projects in 2012. What do you do to support this project in Haiti? And after, as a learner, we think that students have to participate in the construction of the education system. How can you integrate Haitian students in WISE Haiti Task Force? Thanks.
So who would like to you have a final question, so let's take it and then we will respond.
Marina Anselme from the Red, RET. I would like to ask, what is the role and the place you provide to youth and youth education within your 20 projects and the next project coming on? What type of education you are highlighting or reinforcing for youth, whether it's formal or non-formal? Thank you.
So we would like to take some of the questions and try to respond. I have noted them, so we'll try to provide answer to all.
I'm going to try giving, I'm not pretending to answer it, but maybe giving some elements of answers to your question of English. It's a complex question. Complexity in Haiti is present everywhere. If you want to solve a problem, you have to solve today 1,000 others before this one can be solved. So it's not an easy task. But for English, the experience we have had to act upon that a couple of times and to find, if I can call them, quick solutions. For example, we've had to send students in the US to study in US university at the master level degree. And those students, when they left, they spoke very little English, just a little. So we didn't have the time to make them go through a whole program and so they can speak good English. So they went during a buffer period, I would say, of 2 or 3 months. 2 months was enough. And believe me, they spoke very bad English when they left there. In 2 months, intensive immersion, they spoke enough English to follow studies, and then everything went well. So to answer your question, what we could do together is maybe create a buffer, this buffer, make it more systematic and more structured and organized. And so every time that the case happens, we can send students, maybe it can be done also, maybe partly online to some level, but maybe also in a presential way in your location, so they can be ready. The same way US universities have English Learning Center for foreign students. So we definitively in the Caribbean in general need to have this kind of structure so students can go everywhere to study. So this is not a definitive, perfect system, but at least it allows us to address the problem and find a quick solution so they don't miss the opportunity.
Thank you, Patrick. Do you want to?
I'm going to try to answer your question, and Dominique can take from what I will say. Haiti created recently a Secretary of State for the Handicap, which was very important because the first Secretary of State himself had created the Society for the Blind and a national association for the handicap. So it's, you know, in Haiti, handicapped people suffered a lot of exclusion. And I'm proud to say that our foundation was the first one to fund the translation of the curriculum in Braille for the blind so that they could go to the national exam as integrated students and even go to law school as integrated students. So there are some efforts being done, and that's why it was important for the task force to select along the different scales of the ladder the handicap. And when we had our conference last year, I think Lorraine, who is here and who reported from the workshop that was done with the handicap, was probably the most moving report that we got, because what it says is that it is really there that you can find the ground for humanity. And it was important to us to know that these children, we were talking about children and youth, deserve the best care and the best socialization process that they can get as integrated human beings.
And to answer about the flat school, it's impossible for us to find flat land everywhere in Haiti. It's a very mountainous country, so there are slopes everywhere. Of course, ramps are. This is what we need to have: is more ramps. C'est ce qu'on dit, ramps. But lift a little harder because of the electricity shortage. I don't know if we have solar powered lift for schools. And Port-au-Prince is very populated. So one-story schools is also very expensive because the land is expensive. So it's a true problem, but it's being addressed, and our actual Secretary of State for the handicap is in a wheelchair, and he is making his voice heard. Also, with the earthquake, we have a lot more people that have been injured, and we have to address that problem, and hundreds of people have been injured and are lost limbs and more. So the problem is on the table. I don't know how we're going to solve it because we can't do it. We have to do it with the government.
Thank you very much, Dominique. You want to add one point on something, and then I will try to answer the questions which were put, we have not yet received.
Yeah, I would like to answer.
You have the students.
Yes. Okay. So, Steve, thank you for your question. And as I mentioned in my presentation, we will implement this project that the Learners Voice 2011 won in New York in collaboration with the WISE Haiti Task Force, because we will use the projects that they selected to send our students to do volunteering work and internship while they are learning from the leaders of those projects to move forward. So I don't know, I'm pretty sure that the WISE Haiti Task Force will be really happy to collaborate with us to move forward with these projects.
Just one thing, we're not talking about 7 projects. We selected 20 in the time frame that we had. That doesn't mean that there are not others, and actually we will expand to others.
All right. You want to say one thing?
Yeah, for the handicapped issue, we have a concrete example. We have one student on a wheelchair. So what we did, because our infrastructure doesn't have those ramps, and it's a nightmare for a handicapped student to go from class to class. So we pay someone who is with him 8 hours a day and carries him wherever he has to be. So it's a concrete solution. It's not very scalable. I agree, if we had 2,000 like that, it wouldn't be easy. But this is what we do right now.
All right. I would like just to answer the question about the training and the job market. It's a very important question, but among the 20 initiatives that were selected initially, there are several which are in fact addressing directly this issue, either in terms of rural activities or in terms, in fact, of computer technology and management with the AZ and others. And as those initiatives are good examples, they in fact can reflect on the rest of the system and inspire other good practice. That's what I would say. And also we had selected also a professional and vocational school, an example in this segment. So it shows that we are also concerned with this. I would stop here. We have to shut because we have to leave here to close in about 15 minutes maximum. And there is another film, another movie that you can see of 3 minutes, and then I will give the floor for the conclusions to Franny, Mr. Jacob, and Michel for the final words. So you can launch this other movie, which is in fact a very special type of school, normal school, but collaborating with a poor area to help in raising, including the technology.
Carrefour is a township of the Haitian capital, Port-au-Prince. Already one of the country's poorest urban areas, it was almost completely destroyed in the 2010 earthquake. But the college Côte Plage, a private primary and secondary school, offers high-quality, relevant education. Côte Plage is the only place in Haiti where theoretical classes are followed by practical applications. Last year, a group of students decided to assemble solar panels to learn the laws of physics.
Ça me donne un sentiment de joie par rapport aux autres jeunes qui restent chez eux sans rien faire, mais moi j'ai la possibilité de venir à l'école, de travailler, pas seulement pour l'école, mais aussi pour réussir dans ma vie.
The teachers, supported by the parents, saw an opportunity for the students to learn about citizenship and help others. 9 out of 10 schools in rural areas do not have power. Last year, a school in Fort-Roger, a remote mountain village at 6 hours' drive from Port-au-Prince, was equipped with the solar panels. The students of Côte Plage have become true change makers.
Nous avons des problèmes d'eau potable, nous avons des problèmes de route, nous avons des problèmes de santé, nous avons des problèmes de sous-commissariat et autres. Mais je dis que le projet ça, censé c'est un médicament qui vient soulager la souffrance des gens, mais tout qui essaie de briser la barrière qui est censée être séparée nous de monde avec la.
After 3 days of work, the school got electricity for the first time. A virtual network was also built, with a new computer and internet access. Fort Roger is now sharing educational resources with Collège Côte-Plage.
On va permettre à cette école, à 16 élèves de voir autrement, d'avoir une autre formation, d'ouvrir au monde. Et c'est déjà encore le progrès économique. Parce que quand un élève apprend à manipuler un ordinateur, on gagne. Le pays gagne, le parent gagne, l'élève gagne.
The students in Côte-Plage are now putting together solar panels for 3 other schools in remote areas. 1,200 pupils and 20 teachers in total will benefit from this project. As Mabien Bruni, the mathematics teacher, likes to put it, to change the world, learn how to change yourself first.
So you have heard the last word of this movie, which was saying to change the world, begin by changing yourself. What we have tried to do is our very modest means is trying to change the image of oneself, of IT itself. This is what we have tried to do with a very small thing, just the beginning of a long, long journey. I give you the floor. First, maybe Mr. Jacob, as representative of the government of Haiti, Ministry of Education. Then Michel and Franny, you will conclude from the international experience.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Albert. Very briefly, 3-4 things. One of the major lessons that emerged from the summit, it emerged as well from the Islands of Excellence. It's emerged as well from the earthquake that struck Haiti on January 2010, is that education is not only just about reading and writing. It's about how to transfer to children tools and ability to handle any kind of issues all over their life, and how to play a more active role in their life. So the operational plan that the ministry is about to implement right now already encompasses all these aspects. I want to say at the time when the Haiti Task Force has been launched, the ministry was just complete this operational plan. It's a master plan of 5 years, 4.3 billion of US dollars, and it devotes great attention to innovation. So the ministry will take advantage from these innovations. And now the issue is to look at, to explore how innovations can be adopted, adapted, and replicated. We all agree on the high potential of replicability of these innovations. So the next step could be to create a working group to explore these aspects. So I want finally to congratulate FOCAL, former Prime Minister Michel Pierre-Louis, and President of FOCAL, the Haiti Task Force, and the Qatar Foundation as well for the so well done job. And we have a long way ahead, but we will keep moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jacob, for these kind words. Michel, you have, I would say now, 2 years of experience with this.
Yes. The perspectives are very encouraging, and we do hope that the Qatar Foundation and the WISE Summit will continue with their support to this initiative, because as the representative of the ministry just said, we still have a long way to go. And working with the ministry today is very important to us to reinforce our capacities at all levels, whether in civil society, because what's important in that process is that it's an initiative from civil society that reach out to the government, to the ministry, and that together we're going to make a big difference in the education sector in Haiti. In a fragmented society like the Haitian society, an initiative like this one that was launched only 3 years ago is important, of course, in building capacities, skills, knowledge, but there is another component to us which is extremely important. It's the social cohesion that can be a driving force It's the ideas of equity. It's the idea of solidarity. A sense of solidarity in a very fragmented society is important. Civic engagement, as the students said. These are indispensable values in any kind of educational process because they help us to socialize the students on different bases and also solve the paradox of our society where each person should know that they are part of a global world, at the same time find local solutions and help, in that sense, a better society, to build a better society, which should be the final outcome and result of any educational process.
Thank you very much, Michel, for this, I would say, touch of moral and ethics at the end, which is fundamental in our world. Franny, I give you the floor for the overall conclusion, if I may say. With your very large experience, you have been leading the World Bank Institute at Washington as Vice President of the World Bank, which is in fact the arm length, the tool of the World Bank for the training of decision makers in developing countries. You are leading since 4 years, so 3 years and a half, the African Capacity Building Foundation, which is the major, in fact, agency in Africa building capacities. So you are, I would say, very well placed for having a kind of view about what has been done and what needs to be done further.
Well, thank you very much, Jean-Éric. And let me say that it's very rare in life that you have an opportunity to be a participant and an observer at the same time. And the Haiti Task Force has really provided that opportunity. And so let me give you then an observation based or as a member of the task force. And I'll say 5 things. The first one, which is quite remarkable, is the starting point of Haiti and how this initiative was born. As Michelle said in her opening remarks, it was a period of crisis and chaos. But then what happened? What happened is equivalent to what François Tadei has been saying in the 3 sessions they've run here, which is how you learn from crisis. He studies bacteria, but in this case, in the case of Haiti, we saw in real life how you can learn from crisis. And I think the starting point was confidence building. Because by bringing all those projects that were working quietly over the years, that had lessons to share, that didn't know each other, bring them in one place and have them share ideas, was a confidence-building exercise, because those projects were put in parallel with international best practice, and they were just as good or some even better. And that gave the motivation to continue to learn. So that's the first point. The second point is the timing. Not only was this after a major crisis, but it was also after an important election, so democracy, and at the time where the ministry was doing its own thinking, so an opportunity to embed in a longer-term process of change. And what is unique about this case is that with 90% of the innovations being in the private sector, how do you bring those to the national level and build it in the public sector? I think it's a unique opportunity, and the ministry's openness to learning was quite refreshing, and I think a good sign for the future. But the third one, I would say, is the approach. Because when you look at what has been described here and you listen to the films, this initiative created a learning ecosystem. Because you have not only the champions for change in Michelle herself and the people she works with, but also those programs that were supported, Tipa Tipa, ESSI, the other programs shared here, including the Paradis des Indiens, and so on. The second thing is this measures. There were success measures built in, that it's not enough to be good. You have to be excellent and striving to be better. And that puts the metrics to be pulling everybody up. But there was also the idea that it's not just learning for learning's sake, it has to contribute to the community. And you saw this last film that particularly emphasizes that. And the fact that it's not only for Haiti, and therefore the link to the outside world, and really an ecosystem of learning that takes local, global issues and brings them together in one space. I think that was really fantastic and an opportunity for others to see how you could do this going forward. The fourth thing I would say that's unique is the elements of sustainability that are embedded in this program. First, you had a think tank, FOCAL, already in place with the right values, learning and knowledge and ethics, which are usually not very abundant, and I think this was very important to have that in place. And the fact that there's competition, innovation, and scalability embedded in the design, which means you go from idea to implementation and to scale. But then two other things. The focus on early childhood, not forgetting the special excluded groups, including people with disabilities, people who have never been reached with service before, the street children, they were embedded in that. But also the learner as the creator. You've seen from the examples shared here, the learner plays a big role, and now we have two at least who are here at WISE who will be joining in. The last point I'll make is that this actually can be seen to be an ecosystem for society at large, not just from the schools, but the whole society. And my hope is that since we had a colleague here from Dominican Republic, that from Dominica, okay, I thought it was from Dominican Republic, from Dominica. But my point was about Dominican Republic, that this could be an opportunity to share lessons across. But also, I heard a colleague telling me about New York recently after Sandy. Some of the people who were in Haiti during the earthquake found themselves in New York during Sandy. And the coping strategies they had learned in Haiti were very useful in the New York context. So that raised a question for me. Could the work of this initiative be support to countries that have earthquakes, that have to recover from massive crisis, and the lessons learned from this initiative then be lessons for all countries in that situation? So this is what I wanted to share and to really congratulate you for something that was not easy to do, but that in a short amount of time could show not only excellence, but elements of sustainability for the future.
Thank you very much, Franny, for this excellent synthesis. I'm not surprised because I've heard you a number of times making synthesis, but this one is very good. So just to conclude, I think for going even further to what you said, if we are able to do something relevant with some impact in IT, it could be quite useful for the broader WISE community, in fact, because the case of IT is a particularly difficult one. When you have a society which has been, as you said, so fragmented, and an education system which has so much suffered for years and years, and if we are able to really put it on a new trajectory, I think the lessons we can give to the WISE community are quite important and potentially useful. But that is not going to appear tonight. It's going to require from us more years of hard work, but I'm sure we're done in a very good hands, as we have been so far, we'll be successful. Thank you very much. Also to all who pose questions and intervenes. Thank you.